So you're driving along and you feel a vibration when braking. That's usually an indication that you need your brakes looked at. So what we're going to do today is we're going to show you what goes into a brake job. So having a quick look at these brakes, you can see the dark color, which is an indication that these brakes have, well, there's been some hard braking. It's a heavy vehicle. We're often in a lot of traffic. So this rotor's got a bit hot, and that's most likely why the customer's having a brake pulsation. So often we'll find the pad still may be good, but the brake rotor is finished. And to try and machine this, we would actually make it thinner. When we make it thinner, it's even going to dissipate less heat and warp sooner. So we're going to change these rotors. As you can see, they've seen a lot of heat, and put on a new set of pads. You can see we always get a little buildup behind the anti-rattle clips where the pads rest. So we're going to sandblast all this. This is all basically the brine and debris that gets in your brakes. And then these guys are what we call your sliders. And you can see some rust right there. And even with these rubber seals and silicone, this has been about a year. So you would do a brake service every year is what we recommend. And we pull these out, we clean these, and then we'll sill glide. Oh yeah. So then you can see that rust build up right there. And it starts right at the outside edge. And that's just from water and brine intrusion into the slider. So we'll clean that up, put some more sill glide on. But yeah, that one was starting to hang up. That'll hang up the caliper and cause it to drag, and that can also cause an overheating on the brakes as well. This was the inboard pad. Is I'd say probably 5 to 6 mil. You can see the outboard pad is down to nothing, probably 1 mil. And that's just due to the sliders hanging up, the caliper dragging. Then of course it creates an overheat situation on the rotor. So, you know what, a little sooner on the brake service and it might have prevented this situation. So as we compress this caliper, we actually have some brake fluid that's bypassed the seal for the caliper. So basically what that tells us is this caliper's finished. Most likely due to the fact it was dragging from seized sliders, it created too much heat in the caliper, and then of course the seals are damaged as well. So all the more reason to have an annual brake service. All right, as we learned earlier, we had a caliper leak on this vehicle, so we had brake fluid oozing through. This is actually the dust seal, but internal to this is a square cut seal. And obviously when we had brake fluid leaking out on the caliper that's still on the vehicle, that means that the seal internally is leaking. So we have to change the caliper, replace it. The nice thing here is we're using a loaded caliper. And what that means is we actually get a new caliper stand, new sliders, new seals, everything is complete. So this caliper is actually ready to go on the vehicle. And you can see, this is why I call them sliders. The caliper is actually moving back and forth. And as we saw earlier, there was a lot of rust in here causing a problem. But now these are all ready to go. Should move freely. And we won't need to obviously do any sandblasting, and these will just be returned to the supplier to be rebuilt. Nice thing with these pads is you've got the anti-squeal backing that's there. We just remove that, and then they'll adhere to the calipers, and that prevents squealing. All right, we're all done. We've got our new caliper, we've got our new pads, we got our coated rotors, so this car is ready to go. And of course, even with all new brakes, we're going to recommend a service in another 20,000 kilometers, and obviously that will prevent what we saw, that seizing slider, and as far as the calipers, we should be good to go for a very long time. But I think due to that slider hanging up, it kind of overheated the caliper and caused it to prematurely fail as well. So that's the importance of a brake service, as we always talk about on Auto Experts.